Welcome back. 8:20. You're watching Breakfast Television. Beautiful Thursday morning. People don't really want to leave town right now, but if they are planning a vacation, we've got some great tips for you. Kellie Paxian, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Okay. You're a travel expert, and one of the big things with traveling in the modern day is all the great apps out there that will help make your globe-trotting easier. The big thing when you're traveling abroad, currency exchange, right?
Yeah. So there's a great app for that. It's great for people who are traveling to a bunch of different places and they have different currencies, or if you're like me and you just don't like to do math while you're traveling.
Yeah, I'm so terrible at that stuff. Anything to make it easier, I appreciate.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a currency conversion app. So you can download the currency prior to your arrival and just plug in the number and it'll convert into your local currency. So, you know, when you're traveling, you're like, that seems like a lot of pesos, and you plug it in, you're like, oh, it's actually $5 Canadian.
That's really handy.
Yeah, it's really handy.
Yeah, okay. Now, language barrier is obviously a big thing. There's all kinds of beautiful cultures all over our planet, and we sometimes don't know the language.
Yeah.
It's good to be up to speed with certain phrases, right? But what's an app that can, or a couple of apps that can make that easier?
Yeah, so prior to my trip, I mean, I'm trying to learn Spanish right now, so I'm failing, but I use Duolingo, so that's a really good app to try and learn the language. But when you're there, it's best to just immerse yourself in the culture and the language, and sometimes you might not know words, so Google Translate is actually a really great app.
Right.
You can use that offline as well, and you can just plug in the words or the phrases, and it'll translate it for you. And it also works with like speaking. You can just hold it up to the speaker, and it'll translate what you're saying.
Seriously, eh?
Yeah, it's actually really great. And you can like take a photo of a sign that's in a different language, and it'll translate it. So there's a bunch of different ways you can figure out what they're saying.
All right. Now, back in the day, you would grab a physical map of, you know, trying to track your route or where you were going to go. But now it's all online, thankfully. So tell us about new mapping technology when it comes to travel apps.
Yeah, these are the #1 apps I use when I'm traveling because I don't like to get lost. So there's a couple apps that I use. Maps.me is a really great one, and also Google Maps. So you can download the destination, an offline version of the map, and then when you're there, you can walk around and know exactly where you're going. It'll show the little pin, and you can always see like where home is. And a really great use for this is to plug all your like locations that you want to visit.
Just pin them, sort of?
Yeah, pin them, and like restaurants or your accommodation or wherever you want to go. And then when you're walking around, you can be like, oh, I'm right near this restaurant that I wanted to check out. So.
Is there a particular advantage to Maps.me and Google?
Yeah, I use them both, but Maps.me I find is more detailed, and when you download the offline version, you can see like the different cafes and restaurants and even Wi-Fi spots and all these different like aspects of the place that you're going. So yeah, that one's I think, and it also lets you map out your route so you can see like how long it'll take you to get from A to B.
Okay, very cool. And getting around obviously is key. Once you get the maps and things like that, you may need to get in a car. How about ride sharing when you're traveling?
Yeah, well, we live in Vancouver, so we don't really have this luxury here.
Exactly.
But pretty much everywhere else in the world now. I use Uber a lot when I'm traveling, and not only Uber, but also Lyft or Grab. And it's great for so many reasons. I mean, you don't have to fumble around with cash when you're traveling. It's also great for safety because
I was going to ask.
Yeah, it leaves like a digital documentation of where you've been and who the driver who has been verified has been driving you. You know, sometimes taxis in a different place might try to rip you off, or they might be a little sketchy. So Uber or Lyft or Grab, you know that they're like a certified app.
Okay, and before you go on your trip, you need some inspiration. There are so many amazing things out there available online to help you get stoked for your trip, right?
Yeah, I mean, the world is filled with inspiration. I like to use resources like Lonely Planet or Culture Trip, but when I'm going somewhere, I always like to follow accounts on Instagram or Facebook that relate to the destination. So just look under like the location tag. So I'll be going to Central America next. This is a volcano from Guatemala.
Wow.
So that just gets me pumped for my trip, and it also allows to see what travelers are posting today versus like guidebooks that might be a bit outdated.
Of course.
So you can see what people are doing in that destination.
Yeah,
right now.
That's right, because it's good to mention the real time because things can change very quickly, whether it's weather related or sometimes there's something political going on in a certain country. So it's good to have those up-to-date results and information, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And follow Kellie Paxian on Instagram. Your stuff is amazing.
Thanks so much.
No, I love it. Every time I see it pop up, I'm like, well, I got to go there now. All right, so check her out online. Thanks so much, Kellie.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, yeah. All right, we're going to be talking about Dude Chilling Park coming up.